Hi, friends. Welcome to this edition of the Weekly Word. Father Ed Estock here.
Father Dominic.
We're reflecting on the 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and we have the second of three predictions of the Passion by Jesus in the Gospel of Mark. And so last week we had the first one, and this week we have the second one. And so we've been talking about how can we figure into our lives as Catholics this notion of becoming little, becoming least, losing, dying, if you will. Oh, Bella wants in on this conversation. And dying, in fact. So Father Dominic was reflecting especially on the letter of St. James, the second reading, and how humility might figure into our lives better.
Yeah, so in St. James, in his letter, in his passage, he talks about how really a lot of our pride and especially, I guess, the conflict from without us comes from within. And so when we see, dissension, and he talks about war, but I guess in a metaphorical way, there's a lot of war going on. There's a lot of anger and bickering. I was at the BMV earlier today, and there's constantly bickering and anger and that kind of place. And oftentimes we say, "Oh, well, that's from without us. That's everybody else." But the truth is that it really comes within us, and usually the deeper we look, the more we see that really it's our pride and our own selfishness that is the origin of a lot of difficulty and conflict. And so in relation to the gospel, we see that the disciples are engaged in conflict. Why? Because they're arguing who is better. And so James applies very well to this situation where because of the pride of each of the disciples, instead of being in harmony and concord, they end up just bickering like little children.
Right. Yeah, when in my days of reflecting on the contemplative interpretation of the gospel and in life, principally through the community of centering prayer, we had an expression there that one of the goals of the Christian life is to begin to see things as they are rather than seeing things as we are. And that's what I'm kind of thinking of with St. James and this call to take a long, loving look at everything in our lives. And are we, in fact, projecting onto it? I guess that would be a Freudian thing, but projecting onto others the brokenheartedness that is within us. And is the Christian life the opportunity for us to die to such presumption and preoccupation with self and to grow in openness and service to others? So it might be a good trail or track for us to pursue is that how might we become simpler in our approach to life in the world, and instead of being defensive and aggressive, self-protective and self-seeking, if you will, as they say, aggrandizing, maybe we could hear Jesus today call the child over within us and say, unless you become like this little child, you will not be great in the kingdom of God. So the path to greatness in the kingdom of God goes through a little door. And it is the child likeness of Christ.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace.
Have a good one.